Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to all. This is a video notes of the previous lecture. So in this topic, we will be learning on the next chapter of the principal economic, thinking like an economist. So at the end of this topic, the student should be able to explain and apply the scarcity principle, which says that having more of any good things necessarily requires having less or something else. Also, the student is expected to be able to explain and apply the cost and benefit principles, which says that an action should be taken if only on the cost benefit principle, which says that an action should be taken if but only if its benefit is at least as great as its cost. Uh, the next one is the student should be able to explain and also understand the concept of pitfalls in principle of economics and how does the pitfall can be applied in the cost benefit principle. Okay, as we all know that economic is actually a science method whereby in economic we have to observe and then we make theories, relevant theories based on the observation, and then after we make a theory we have to observe some more just to make sure that our theory are consistent. So for example here, let me So, for example here, inflation, okay. So, based on the observation, the economists come up with a theory that the high inflation arises when the government prints too much money. So, therefore, we will have inflation. And also, when a country suffer inflation, the price of the items over the time will increase. Okay, so meaning that the items of the price will keep on increasing over the time if the country suffer inflation. Okay, so to test the theory of inflation, so the economists will have to collect the data and analyze the data from a different countries because, okay, we are talking about economics, so we are not allowed to simply play around with the country's current economics. Okay, kita tak boleh nak suka-suka cuba-cuba nak play around. Okay, so what the economists will do is that they will collect the data and analyze the data from a different country, meaning that uh, uh, they will collect the data from countries who are currently suffer inflation, okay, and then analyze the data from the countries. So, if the analysis found out that there is no relationship between the quantity of the printed money and the price of the item. So therefore, the economists will start doubting the validity of the inflation money in the sense that um, sekiranya tidak ada relationship antara the amount of the printed money dengan harga barang yang makin lama makin meningkat. Therefore, the economists akan start question lah teori inflation itu sendiri. Because just now kita kata inflation ni dia terjadi apabila kerajaan akan print banyak duit. So bila print banyak duit, harga barang makin lama makin meningkat. It goes something like duit tu dah tak ada value. Sebab duit tu dah tak ada value. Because here's the thing, bila kita print duit, Okay, bila kita print duit, dia ada something that happen to the country's economy. Macam dia punya dia ada something reserve yang dia keluar, you know. We need to understand details on that. You have to make a research on that. So, if no relationship between the amount of the printed money and the price rate, so the economists will start doubting the validation of the inflation theory. But if there is or a relationship between the amount of the printed money and the price rate, therefore the original theory on the inflation adalah betul. Okay, this is what I say. The economists are not allowed to manipulate nations' monetary policy. Okay, just to generate a simple data. We are talking about countries. Kita tak boleh nak suka-suka manipulate, pusing duit. You know what happened in 1998? I do not know when were you back then. But in 2018, what happened was our currency, our Malaysian currency, our MYR dropped from 2.5 pada masa tersebut $1 equivalent to RM2.50 Malaysia. Kemudian something happened in 1998. So it goes to $1, $1 to almost RM5 Malaysia. Apa yang berlaku pada masa tersebut adalah this guy named George Soros, he bought all the Malaysian money. So bila dia beli semua duit Malaysia, automatically our currency drop. Okay, so ini yang dimaksudkan by this statement. The economists are not allowed to manipulate the country's money, the nation money, because of course bila kita play around with the the money, dia akan memberikan kesan kepada negara tersebut. Itu yang berlaku dalam tahun 1998 bila George Soros beli duit Malaysia. Beli duit Malaysia automatically drop lah kan. Okay. So, what economists can do is that they have to make do on whatever the world, they have to make do on whatever the data that the world have. They have to make do on whatever the data that the world has to offer. Okay, they have to pay close attention to natural experiment by the history. Apa sahaja historic event yang berlaku, they have to pay a close attention. For example, war. For example, apa yang berlaku war, of course, it affects the country's current economic. Apa lagi? Yes, certain announcement, for example, Malaysia under previous government announce the development of ECRL. So when that news announced, dia akan menarik minat pelabur asing masuk ke Malaysia. Automatically kita ada, we can see just a small hike in our currency. Dia ada naik sikit. Okay, so those are the news that the economic have to pay attention. Contohnya macam apa lagi? War, macam earthquake. Okay, earthquake, it has something to do with the economic. It's a natural disaster. Dia akan memberikan kesan kepada keadaan ekonomi negara. Macam sebelum ni saya ada bagi contoh Brexit. Bila British decided to keluar daripada Europe, it does give an effect to the current economy. Dia bagi kesan sedikit kepada ekonomi dunia pada masa tersebut. Obviously, Britain pun dapat efek sedikit lah daripada that announcement to keluar daripada Europe kan. Okay, so for example here, when the war in the Middle East interrupt the flow of crude oil, the price went skyrocketed around the world. So, what? Why? War in Middle East. What are the relationship between war in Middle East and the crude oil? Because Middle East have many telaga minyak. Dia one of the negara yang produce minyak. Okay. So because macam yang saya like what we discussed before, negara-negara di Middle East ni macam Iran, macam Iraq, dia ada banyak telaga minyak. So banyak negara yang cuba nak conquer, nak ambil minyak tersebut. So of course lah bila berlakunya peperangan, well, mereka sibuk berperang, mereka tak boleh nak generate the minyak itself. Lepas tu dan macam-macam lagi perkara yang menyebabkan minyak tersebut tak boleh nak dialir keluar. Okay. So bila minyak tersebut tersekat, tak boleh nak dialir keluar, tak boleh nak dijual, apa yang berlaku, whatever crude oil stock that they have on the market at that moment, harganya akan meningkat. Kenapa? Sebab kita tak dapat stok yang baru. Kita buat apa sahaja stok yang kita ada pada market kita pada masa tersebut, semua negara nak. Semua orang nak. So, harga dia akan meningkat. Okay? So, in that case, for consumers, untuk kita, bila harga minyak ni meningkat, of course lah dia akan bagi kita tekanan, bagi depress our living standard. Why? When the oil price spike, everything spike as well. Harga perkhidmatan, harga barang, semuanya akan spike. Okay, of course, dia akan depress the living standard of the human being. For economic policy maker, it poses a difficult choice about how best to respond. Untuk para pembuat polisi, dia tak boleh nak buat decision. Dia tak boleh like it goes something like, okay, how can we tackle this problem? Harga minyak menaik ni. Okay, harga minyak meningkat. Macam mana kita nak tackle this problem? Adakah harga minyak meningkat, kita pun nak kena tingkatkan harga minyak? Ataupun adakah harga minyak meningkat, we absorb the loss? Maksudnya, every cent yang meningkat tu kita absorb, kita jual pada harga yang sama. Ataupun adakah bila harga minyak ni meningkat, apa yang berlaku? Kita nak start keluarkan the new technology. Anyway, that's what happened actually. Nowadays ada banyak current technologies yang boleh replace current technologies to in fuel engineering yang boleh replacekan petrol. Okay, so that's that lah. And for economic scientists, this event actually provide a great opportunity for them to study the effect of the war and the relationship with the world economy. Untuk economic scientist, event macam ni dia suka lah. Dia dapat tengok relationship antara perang tersebut dengan keadaan ekonomi dunia. Apa perang dapat bagi kesan kepada ekonomi. Lagi lama event tersebut berlaku, dia dapat study in details. Okay? Contohnya kalau macam dekat Iraq perang. Dulu Iraq kalau perang pun Iraq tak pernah kalah. Sampai one fine day, the president of Iraq, which is Saddam Hussein, dah defeated. Okay, masa tu Iraq perang dengan US. So Saddam Hussein defeated, dia jatuh. Bila dia jatuh, and then the economy of Iraq pun drop. So sampai sekarang masih tak pulih 100%. So for economic scientists in this event, memberikan mereka masa, memberikan mereka cukup information for them to study. What happen if this incident berlaku with dengan relationship kepada ekonomi negara. Next, okay, the role of assumption. So the role of assumption. So assumption can simplify the complex world and make it easier to understand. Ini sepatutnya adalah, this is actually a task for you to do, right? So minggu lepas I minta you all buat exercise for this one. You have to find the role of assumption. So in this slide, I give you just a simple simple maklumat saja what is the role of assumption. I don't have to read it. I believe that you, if you did the activities, you should know. You should have known what is the role of assumption. So let's move on to the next slide. So in economics, we have three basic economic problems. Okay? Three basic economic problems, and these problems